So, welcome to a brand new series, you could say maybe, that I'm going to be doing on YouTube, on my YouTube channel. I'm kind of switching in between what to call it, to be honest. It's either, I've called it the monthly moments because I feel like that's probably the best thing to call it, maybe. Um, I was going to call it like the monthly, I was going to call it like the Molyneux Monthly View or something, but then I thought Molyneux View is already a podcast and I don't really want to upset Tim Spears or anything, so steered away from that one. And I was going to call it a Molyneux Monthly Moments, but that's just too long, so I've just kept it with Monthly Moments, um, just to see where it goes, see if it's any good really. So basically, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be over the month that's just gone. I'm going to be talking about all the games that happened. I'm going to be doing this either at the end of every month or the start of the month. Like, it's the 1st of March today. And yeah, just going to be talking about all the games that happened through February and kind of giving my opinions on them and my thoughts and yeah, all the other things. So yeah, I mean, we're just going to get into it. So you could say a pretty successful month um, for Wolves in general. I think, unbeaten in the league. We had that one defeat, which we'll get onto in the cup. But if you would have said this either in December or in January as well, where we just seemed so low and so deflated, and it was difficult to find like where the next win would come from. But you know what? It's been a good month in hindsight. There's been a few frustrating results here and there, but overall it's been a good month and not really too many complaints. Obviously, we'll start off with the first game of February, the 2nd of February. Wolves 2, Arsenal 1. Not gonna lie, shouldn't really have won that, to be honest. Just I felt like all of the luck we had over the past month or 2 months or 3 months, in fact, it just felt like everything, all of our luck just came in that one game. And obviously, I don't know how we ended up drawing that first half because honestly, it was probably one of the worst like performances I've seen for quite a while in that second half because it was just really like poor and really bad. Tomato getting turned inside out, getting sent back to Barcelona so many times, um, and it was just like it was just poor. It was just like there's no other way to put it really. It was just really poor. I think it Pepe. I think it was Pepe getting the goal, and again, like I said, he turned Tomato inside out, sent him back to Barcelona, and had so many other chances they should have scored. Like in the first 30 seconds, Saka should have, and we somehow get a bit of luck with the penalty. Still controversial whether it was even a penalty in the first place or whether it was a red card. I guess in like the rulings and in the rules now that it probably is a penalty and a red card, but I can see why people are against it. But again, it was given. Neves put the penalty away, and yeah, it kind of started from there really. We somehow had the motivation to carry on because yeah, and we had the man up as well with then getting one sent off. So yeah, somehow all the motivation come to us, and we somehow end up winning that game. Again, it was like a brilliant strike from Moutinho, but again, the closing down was like it was non-existent. There was no closing down of like Kim or any of the midfielders when you got players sent off like that. I think they brought, was it Gabriel on? Maybe they brought someone on at half time. It might have been a defender. I'm not sure, but I feel like they brought someone on at half time, and yeah, we controlled the game, which was likely when they had 10 men, and then going down to 9 men, which you can't really say anything about that was a silly. I don't know what Leno was doing. He had no like pressure with him really. He could have just stopped and held it back to his own goal, or he could have just. I don't know. He just kind of hits it away when there's no pressure. No, like he didn't need to do that, but that was a clear foul, a clear red card. Just like really stupid. And then they bring Runnison on, and again, I thought we should have peppered more shots at him, because we saw in the games before against with City in the cup, and he's just so like his handling and stuff like that. He's just really poor, and even with his feet, I think that's why they bought him, because he was good with his feet. But we saw before that he just kicked one out of play, and we should have put way more pressure on them, like way more pressure on them. But we kind of just sat back as well, and there was a little scare at the end. But again, with a 2-man advantage, then it was simple really. And Matinho was good, and Neves were good, but you can't really like judge it when when we have 2 more players than they did. So it was hard to judge, and we just kind of got all of our luck in that one game, which again you could say was kind of deserved, because in the last 3 months before that we had no luck with games. So it was a weird game. We shouldn't have really won it, but we somehow did with a little bit of luck, well, a lot of luck, you could say. But yeah, overall it was big, because it was our first win in God knows how long. Yeah, it was needed. It was really needed, because yeah, I just felt like we wasn't getting anywhere. Like I felt like we needed it. We needed that bit of luck, and like I said, we got a lot of luck. Let's just say that we had a lot of luck. But yeah, moving on to the next game against Leicester, which again it was a bit of a weird one as well. I feel like all these games with Leicester and stuff, it's really close, so we get robbed by VAR in the last couple of games, and this one I think it was a deserved draw. Really, I felt like no one really. Both teams had a clear chance which they should have scored, so maybe should have ended a goal apiece, but ended 0-0. Again, it was a good performance really against a Leicester team who were maybe second, third in the league at the time, and were flying. They got through the group in Europe, and they were still in the FA Cup and stuff. And yeah, I felt like it was a good performance against a better team than Arsenal as well. But it was a good performance. There's that chance for Fabio, which he probably should be scoring. Like he goes for the near post, and I don't know why he's going for the near post there, but that'll come with experience. He'll know. Like he's still 18. Like he's still the same age as me. Like he's in this position where he's playing for a Premier League club, and he's scored so many goals for an under-19 club, and he's come to the Premier League at 18, and it's still going to take him a while. And to be fair, he's got two goals, and obviously one was a penalty, but I feel like the goals will come. We saw like in the game against Newcastle I'll talk about, he's getting the chances. Like he's coming on with like 10 minutes to go, 5 minutes to go, and he's getting these clear chances, and maybe at the end of the season or next season we'll see him put them away. And who knows, if he gets that could have been another 3 points for us, and if he gets that one against Newcastle it could have been another 3 points. So yeah, it's frustrating at the time to like seeing it, but that's just going even further in his development, and I feel like he's only going to get better, and he'll learn from their mistakes, because again he's still only 18. He's still got so much learning to do, and there's been talk about him going into like the under-23s, and I don't know how this has gone on to Fabio Silva, but we'll talk about it anyway. There's been a lot of stick about Silva actually, about ever since he joined really, about the price tag, and yeah, it's like a massive price tag for someone at 18 who can just about drink and drive. Like it's a massive like fee for him, but again, it's not. He didn't decide the choice. We decided the choice. We wanted to pay that 37 million for him. That was our choice, or the owner's choice, to pay that much for him. So, and it's a lot of pressure for him. It's a lot of pressure for him. He's like, he expects to score goals, and it's a signing for the future. It's not one which will, if Fabio was maybe 24, 25, 26, and we paid that much for him, then yeah, you could have critics for him, because he's middle age now for a footballer. He's almost at his prime, and he should be scoring these goals. But again, he's 18 and he's played 3 professional games before coming to Wolves. So it was always going to be massive, and even the jump from like the Portuguese league to the Premier League is like massive, and the physical presence that you come up against is like unbelievable compared to like Liga NOS. So yeah, it'll come. You can see he's gaining the positions, and he's got a footballing brain. He knows where to be. And if he just bulks up a bit, gets a bit more physical, and can challenge these defenders with strength, and I feel like he'll become a good striker maybe next season. Whether we have William Jose or Raul is back as well, learning off someone like that as well will be great for him. So, I mean, hopefully, I really believe that he can do something good. But we just need to give him time because, like I said, he's 18. Like I'm 18, and like I'm here in my room, just like doing nothing. Like, and he's playing for a Premier League football club, earning like millions a year. So, yeah. Again, the Leicester game, it was a fair draw. It was a fair result. I don't think anyone can be too critical with that. I feel like it was a fair point. Again, against a good Leicester team, there's no real. Yeah, I feel like it was a good point. I don't think there was anything wrong with that. I felt like it was 1 point gains. Whether some people may have seen it was a point lost with that Fabio chance, and but yeah, it was a good point. I can't really remember too many big moments from it. I think they had one right at the end with Vardy. I feel like it might have been a header and it just went wide, or I can't remember. But they had the chance right at the end as well, which was very close and easily could have been a goal. But I feel like we kept them quiet for a while, and obviously they didn't have Vardy that brought him on in like the 70th, 80th minute. So we kept them quiet, and I thought Neto was really good. He went on that unbelievable run from our own area into I think he went into their box as well, and yeah, he's just been getting better and better throughout this month. You can just see it, and yeah, I thought he was probably man of the match. Maybe I can't really remember any other outstanding performances. But yeah, it was a good point. It was a really good point. But moving on to the next game, which is our cup game and our only defeat of the month. Against Southampton. I mean, from when I saw the starting lineup, like I just knew that it just wasn't going to be a good day. Like with that front three, Fabio Silva, Gibbs White, and Vitinha, I just knew that it wasn't gonna work. And I've always backed Morgan. Like ever since I saw him against, did he make his debut against Stoke? I think in the FA Cup. Like ever since I saw him, I've always backed him. I've always wanted him to do well, and I still do believe that there's a player in there, and there's a player that can go on and be a Premier League regular for whether that's Wolves or whether that's someone else. I really do believe that, but again, it wasn't going to work. Like we know that Morgan and Vitinha are wingers. They haven't got that pace where they can run and beat someone, beat the fullback for pace and go in and put in a good cross. That's not their game. That's not what they're there for. They're there so they can play in that number 10 role. They can pick the ball up. They can do these nice little passes, these short passes here and there. Maybe play a nice ball through to one of the wingers or through to the striker. They shouldn't be the one that's receiving the ball over the top or something like that, because that's not. We know that's not what they do, and we've saw Morgan before. We saw him play out on the wing, and Nuno put him on the wing, and he can't do it. He can't play on the wing. He can't play in like a midfielder position. He has to play as a number 10. Or I remember the best performance I ever seen from Morgan was there's probably the one against Chelsea, which was really good, but also the one against Newcastle in a friendly. I know it's just a friendly, but I think we won 4-0. Was the one in China? It was last year, wasn't it? Yeah, it was last year in China when we won the tournament. And that game against Newcastle, he played. I remember it was Jota as like the striker, the main striker, and then it was Morgan as like a false 9 kind of thing, just floating around him. And that's the best I've ever seen Morgan play. I think he played most of the game. I think he got a goal and assist, maybe. I don't know, but he definitely got a goal, and that was the best I've ever seen him play as that false 9, just behind the striker, and he was floating around a little bit, and he was supporting Jota, and he was supporting the midfield as well. And I think that's his best position. But we don't play with like two people up front. We play with one and the two wingers, and we don't really play with number 10 either, unless we play four at the back, and that's not going to happen anymore. But that's the best I've ever seen Morgan play, and he needs to play in them positions. And from this game, we just never we knew it wasn't going to happen because they don't score goals. None of them have scored goals. I think Silva had two at that point. Vitinha had one from the last round, and Morgan had one from one with his time at Swansea. But that's it, or maybe two. I'm not sure, but they're not goal scorers. They're not goal scorers yet in their careers, and they're still young. I think Morgan was the oldest one at 20, and yeah, it just wasn't going to work. Like we seemed defensively okay, but there was just non-existent. We had nothing up front. Like we had nothing. Like no one could hold the ball up, and no one could do anything. I think they had, was it Vestergaard and Salisu, or Bednarek and Salisu? I can't remember which way around that was, but yeah, it was just so simple for them because they're tall, they're strong, they can win the ball in the air, and it just wasn't like sticking to the top, and it was never going to work. Like from when I saw that score, from when I saw the lineup, it was just never going to work. And again, that's probably down to Nuno as well, because this was a real chance for us to go far in the FA Cup, because we was out of getting in the top 7 or getting Europe really, and this was our only chance of getting into Europe through the FA Cup. And you see Southampton now, they've beat us, and now they've got Bournemouth in the next round too. Bournemouth are pretty much mid-table now in the Championship because they fell apart. So this was a perfect opportunity for us. It was just an easy way into an FA Cup semi-final, and it was Nuno's fault. You can't really put anything down to that. He should have played at least one of the front three, whether it was Neto, whether it was Adama. He should have played someone like that, because Southampton is still a good team. Like, they've been on a bit of a free fall really, but they are a good team. They've got like really good players in their team. Like James Ward-Prowse is probably one of my favourite players in the Premier League. Just how good he is, and obviously Stuart Armstrong is a really good player as well. And defensively they were strong, but yeah, the front three was just never going to work. No goals in there, no creativity in there really. But you can't really. I guess you can blame the players really, but Vitinha and Morgan, they're out of position. They can't. That's not their positions. They can't go and run and beat a player like that. They have to have space in that midfield, and they have to have people around them where they can pass it off and play little 1-2s with. They can't run with the ball and do all these skills and all these step overs and put a good ball into the box. That's just not the job. They can't do that. And yeah, again for the goals as well, it was just really poor with the goals. I can't even remember anyone having a good game, really. Yeah, it was just poor really. And we kind of, I bet Southampton, when they saw our lineup, there was rubbing their hands together. There was like, yes, this is beatable with that front three. And I think was Hoover playing in Nate Norrie. I don't think Johnny was back, or he might have been back at that point. I'm not too sure, but at that point, they was rubbing their hands together. They was like, yeah, we're into the next round here, because all they had to do was be a little bit switched on at the back, and they dealt with everything at that point. I think our first shot on target was Adama, and he came off the bench, and that was like in the 70th, 80th minute, and it was a good chance. He probably could have scored it, to be honest, if he had a bit more composure about him. But to be fair though, I remember that shot. He done well to actually keep it on target, because the Adama we know, he could have put it out for a throw in Row Z or anything like that. So he done well to control it and keep it on target. The keeper made a good save with it, but maybe he could have done better with it. I don't know. But it was just really, that was one of the most frustrating games of the season, because we easily could have got through that if we played one of the front three. If we maybe played Vitinha and Neto, or Morgan and Adama, or Morgan and Neto. I feel like just one of the wingers, or one of our first choice front line, we would have had a chance. But there's nothing at the top at all, and it just didn't work. It just didn't click at all. So yeah, that was frustrating. That was, like I said, really frustrating to see. and then we had Southampton again on the 14th of Feb. And going off the first half, it seemed like nothing changed really. We seemed even worse than the cup game. That first half was dreadful. Yeah, it was kind of like the Arsenal first half. Like, we was only 1-0 down, but it should have been more. It should have been more. Again, the front line just seemed like there was nothing. There was nothing there. Like, it was just. I think Willian, you can't really blame him because he didn't really get the service, and I think he hardly touched the ball in that first half. But we just seemed even worse than before. Defensively, which just seemed all over the place and just getting caught out here and there, and Semedo getting done for the goal as well. Armstrong I think it might have been Adama, and Semedo, Armstrong, or I think it was Armstrong, he's just running straight for him, or puts the ball in, and Danny Ings puts it away, and it's a really good volley, and it's a good goal. But defensively, it could have been dealt with in so many different ways, from stopping the ball in the box, stopping Armstrong from getting that far anyway, and then the ball in the box. It's just simple for him. That's a simple for a striker like Willian. For a striker like Ings, sorry, that's what he does. He's a goal scorer, and stuff like that he's gonna put away every single day of the week, and we didn't deal with that at all. And it's just a lot of frustration throughout the whole season and throughout this month as well. There's been a lot of frustration with the goals we've conceded. They easily could have been dealt with. But and then it just feels like the same as last season against Southampton at St Mary's. For some reason, we have a bit more bite about us. We've had a few more red balls at half time, and we seem up for the game. We seem energetic, and we really went for it. And we just seem to take the handbrake off, which was needed in all of these games. Is especially the one in the we'll come on to some of them, but we just need to take the handbrake off sometimes and just let our players go and let them free. Like, we just need to let them go. Like, I just feel like we're holding them back too much. Nuno's restricting them to these zones where they can't leave and they can't move around too much. And he done that at half time. He swapped the wingers and little tweaks here and there, and it really changed the game. I feel like it's worked with that Portuguese right hand side and the Spanish left hand side. I feel like it's worked well, especially in that second half, because we looked really good and we didn't look like conceding a goal in that second half. We looked really good defensively. We looked solid. And we just looked a bit more free flowing, and the passing was sharp and crisp and really fast as well, which we've needed, because sometimes we're just a bit too slow. And there's been times where I saw Nelson he's got the ball, he's ran forward a little bit, and he can break or make a risky pass, but it looks like he kind of thinks something in his head, like, what would Nuno want to do, and he stops and then passes it back or passes it sideways, and it's so frustrating to watch, because you just want him to run a bit more and play a risky pass. And if it comes off, then great, it could be a goal. And if it doesn't, then at least you've tried it. At least you've tried that risky pass, which could lead to a goal. But we just play it too safe sometimes, and we play these simple sideways passes instead of a risky over the top ball or risky through ball or something. But yeah, the second half was really good. Again, the penalty a bit controversial, but in this day and age, it's a handball. They probably should have had one as well for a Dendonka handball. It was pretty similar, and it probably shouldn't have been. They probably should have had a penalty as well. But a little bit more luck goes our way, and Neves again sticks it away. It's quite a few goals for Neves this year. To be fair, quite a few goals, and really good penalty, no saving it really, and then Neto with. Up there for one of the goals of the season, just the way. Again, there's been a lot of links with that Ebanks Blake goal. I don't think I was old enough to remember it, but I can't really remember the game. But they are very similar. It was brilliant. It was a really good goal, and just the way it just turned, Vestergaard's got the turning circle like a bus. It was never going to catch up with Neto, and maybe the keeper should have done better with it, but the pace it's coming at, you can't blame him, and just the way he turns and just runs down the line a little bit. I'm really bad at explaining it, but you have to go and see. It's a proper good goal, and that puts us in the driving seat now. And yeah, we kind of saw the game out really. Southampton done pretty much nothing in that first half. I think the only criticism they would have of it is they probably should have scored more in that first half anyway, because being only 1-0 up, there should have been at least 2-0 up maybe. But we done that with the comeback again, second half FC, get the goals, and win the game. And again, it was a massive win. The back-to-back wins in the league was massive. And we really needed it, because there was points, there was scares here and there at the start of this month where we would have been pulled into a relegation fight, but we was down there with the Brightons, Crystal Palaces, and I think Newcastle were quite close at the time as well. So it was around them teams who were fighting to stay up, and I think getting them 2 wins on the bounce was massive. The 2 6 points, or the 6 points in general was massive, and we really needed it. So again, you probably should have said that it would have been a fair result if it was a draw, because a game of 2 halves really. They was better in the first half, but we was better in the second half. So maybe it should have been a draw, but we'll take the points every day of the week. And then moving on to one of the more recent games, 19th of February against Leeds. Yeah, a 1-0 win. Again, this one just seemed... Again, you could have said this one as well was probably... at the end of the game, you probably could have said this was a 1-1, like, if this was an even game. It shouldn't really have gone either way. I think a draw would have been a fair result. I saw Leeds fans complaining, like, oh, we battered you, like we should have won. And, I mean, yeah, you had some chances, but we had quite a lot of chances as well. So it kind of just evened itself out. I felt like Node's team really deserved to win. But again, we get that little bit of luck with the deflection. Another deflection against Leeds, and another doing the double over Leeds, which is always good against Leeds. But yeah, this one just seemed different, because we actually seemed... I think it's probably because we was playing Leeds, and Leeds are so like intense and so quick with the ball, we kind of just matched them, and that's just kind of how they get other teams to play against them. But we just had the energy, and we were just fighting, and that was a really good first half, even though we didn't take the lead or anything, or... yeah, it was still like really intense, really good, and that's what we've wanted from the start. Like, I feel like we only start playing when we're losing, or when we're like looking for something, or that's what we needed. We need to start like that more against teams like this, against teams like Leeds and Newcastle and Brighton and West Brom, all these teams like at the bottom. We just need to go at them, because teams like this are vulnerable, and we know Leeds are the most inconsistent team ever. That could win 6-0 against United and lose 4-0 against Brighton. Like, there's no consistency with Leeds, and we need to go at them. And to be fair, we did. I think Semedo had a few chances. I think Neto was shooting from everywhere, from his mum telling him to shoot. Like, he was shooting from all angles. And yeah, we just seemed really up for it. We seemed really good. Still, you could say in all of these games, defense from set pieces, we are like atrocious. We are so bad from set pieces. We just can't defend them. We can't defend set pieces. We can't defend crosses. We can't defend like none of them. Liam Cooper probably should have had a hat trick. The amount of chances he had. Rafinha, every time he whipped the ball in, he was dangerous. He was so good, and we just can't defend them. Cody, Dendoncker, Sace, just can't defend any of them. And yeah, Matt, like that. I remember that one chance where Liam Cooper it was a free header, and he just heads it straight at Patricio, and it probably should have been. It could have been a lot worse. Like, it could have been a lot worse, and we somehow rode that luck. I thought Patricio was brilliant. He kept us in that game, and ended up getting a team of the week on FIFA, which, you know, is always good. But yeah, it was a bit mental. It was a bit mental, and then obviously Adama, I feel like he was he the best player on the pitch? I'd probably say, well, the best player for Wolves. I'd say probably Adama, Um, just a way, like, we needed that more. Like, he runs and he keeps the ball, and we see he does that a lot. And it's always just the end product that fails with him. Like, he can make this unbelievable run, and then he can play a simple pass to someone, and it just goes out. Like, that's the only thing that frustrates me about Adama the most. Just, he can do all the hard work, and then just a simple pass or a simple shot, he just fails out. And you could say it was the same for this goal, because it goes on that unbelievable run, has a really good strike, hits the crossbar, and comes off Meslier, which, again, another bit of luck for us, but again, we haven't had any luck this season, so it's just all came in the month of February at the moment. But then again, that goal was massive, because the tight games like this against the likes of United and stuff like that, where we've conceded that last goal, we've never been able to get that goal in these tight games that we've been in. We've never been able to get that goal that puts us in front. A bit like the Leicester game as well, where these tight games where we easily could have won it, but we just didn't have the quality to do it, and we didn't have the chances to do it. But we get that little bit of luck, and we're going 1-0 up, and yeah, it was another massive win. Yeah, it was. I don't know. It was a weird game. It was a weird game, but it was good. It was a really good point, a really good 3 points, and another clean sheet as well. Which it's been a while since. Well, obviously we had that one against Leicester, but it's been a while since we've had a couple of clean sheets, and Patricio kept that clean sheet because he was brilliant, and a lot of saves. I feel like it was quite a lot of saves. I remember I saw a stat about how many saves he made, but I can't remember how many. But again, it was important. He made some really good saves and kept that clean sheet, kept us in that game quite a lot of times, and that was really important. And a win and a clean sheet was massive. I can't remember the last time we won and got a clean sheet before then, but that was really good, really massive win. And then we come on to the most recent game against Newcastle, 1-1 draw. After that game, I was frustrated because it's Newcastle and they're what, like three points off the bottom three. They're struggling, like we see the bottom three, like you can see with the bottom three that like they're trying. You could see Fulham. I think Fulham are really good. You could say West Brom. As much as I don't like him, you could say with Big Sam there, they're defensively strong, and if they take the lead, then you could say they'll hold on for it. But with Newcastle, like, I just don't see anything like good about them. Like attacking, like they've got like nothing, and then defensively they're just poor, and in the midfield they're just poor. So I just feel like they've got nothing about them, and you could say the only thing that's been keeping them in them is like Caldalo in goal, which he's been really good, to be fair. He's been really good, and him coming out and Dubravka coming in. As soon as I saw that, like, that's Dubravka's. How do you say his name? I don't know, but the goalkeeper. That's his first game in like months, and I was saying before the game, you need to pepper shots at him because he's not match fit. He's been out for quite a while. Cardalo's been dropped, which I'm not really too sure is a good idea because he hasn't really warranted being dropped, really, from the games I've watched anyway. He's been okay, he's been pretty good, but he's been dropped, and Dubravka's not match fit. Like, we need to pepper shots at him early because he's not going to be ready for him. But we just didn't do that. We just give. I've said this before. Like, we could give, like, if we played San Marino or someone like that who have 4 wins in like their whole history. If we played San Marino, we would give them hope in the first 30 minutes. We would give them hope that they could go on and get a result in this game, because that's just what we do. We could play anyone in the league. We could play Newcastle here, or we could play like City or someone like that. We'll just give them hope in the first 30 minutes because that's just what we do. We don't play the team we're playing. We play like our own way, which I guess it is a positive. We need to do that, but like in some games, you need to go at them because teams like this are vulnerable. Like Newcastle are really vulnerable. Like, they're like really poor. Maybe they're not in the bottom 3 and they probably won't get relegated, but they're a poor side. They have quality in the team, like Saint-Maximin.
and like Fabian Schär and stuff like that. They have quality in the team, but just overall they're not a good team at all. And we need to be going at teams like this, and we just sit off them. We just sit back and wait for them to attack us. And for the first 30 minutes, we just let them go to us. And so Maximan was causing us all sorts of problems. Again, if they go down, then I wouldn't mind taking him because I think he's brilliant. I think he's really good. Yeah, it was just causing all sorts of problems. I mean, apart from him, there was no one really else. They didn't have they didn't have Wilson, the top scorer, which was good for us because with him there, with their top goal scorer, it could have been a lot worse. But yeah, we just didn't really do anything. It was a pretty poor first half as always a poor first half, and then we somehow, like I said, have a few red balls in a half time. Come out second half, we seem a completely different side. A bit more attacking, a bit more free flowing, a bit more just quicker passes, and I thought the Dom was the best player on the pitch, 100%. Again, just driving and attacking with the ball, and there was actually a few times which I thought was really good. He was actually getting back, and I remember there was a few times where he was winning tackles as well, and he was getting back, helping Johnny, and winning tackles and bringing the ball forward, which I really like. He doesn't do that enough because we know he's quite lazy. Like, if he loses the ball, or he'll just stand there. He'll just stand there and wait for the ball to come to him. He won't go and win the ball himself, and he's done that a few times. I remember one time where he wins the ball really well and he drives with it. I think it might have been the first half actually he done that. And yeah, that was really good from him. Like, I really enjoyed seeing that, and some of his balls in as well was good. It just was, I don't know whether you could say that's Jose's fault for not being in the right position or Adama's fault for not delivering the right ball. But yeah, they're definitely man of the match for Wolves' point of view. Definitely our best player. Neto, I love Neto. Like, I love him, but it's just shooting too much. Like, there's like positions where he's shooting from. I'm like, why are you shooting from there? Like, you're 45 yards out, and you can pass it to Neves or something, or Semedo's coming around the back of you. I just lay it off. Don't shoot from there because you're never going to score from there. It's just, I feel like it's taking too much advice from his mom, to be honest. And no offense to your mom, but she's probably not like a Pep Guardiola. Like, I don't think she really knows the whole insight of football. Like, yeah, you have to shoot, but not from like 45 yards out. Don't shoot from there. And there's times where it was just like we was free flowing. There was some nice passes, and it could have led to something great. And then he just gets the ball at his feet and shoots, and then he either catches it easily or he goes out or anything like that. And it was just a little bit frustrating from Neto. Obviously, there's still glimpses there where he could drive with the ball, he can hold people off really well. There was still glimpses of that here and there, and obviously for the goal, getting the assist, it was a really good ball in. But yeah, there was some points where he's just a bit frustrating this game. Maybe you could say his worst performance in the month. But again, he's been our best player. He's been our player of the season this season. So you can't, like, he's having this one inconsistent game. You can't really all blame it on him because he's won us so many points this season with Raul's absence. So you can't really blame him too much. And then obviously they get the first goal. I should talk about. They get the first goal. Obviously when I first saw it, when I was watching it on TV, I thought, you know what, Ryan Fraser, that's a really good ball in, and Lascelles, we know what the threat he is from set pieces. And I thought, you know what, that's a good goal. Like, fair play, that's a good goal. But watching it back like today and yesterday, I was like, you know what, just defensively, or from set pieces and crosses, we just can't deal with them. I remember, I think it was a picture or screenshot Tim Spears like released on Twitter where as soon as Fraser gets the ball on that like on the edge of the area kind of thing, as he's got the ball, there's like, it just shows a picture of our defence, and like all in defence, and Lascelles has started his run from outside the box, and he's ran all the way in, and he's just got a simple header on that. I don't know if it was Sace or maybe even Cody, who just didn't like go for the ball. They're just ball watching, and Lascelles comes in, heads it low. I don't think Patricio could have done anything with that ball, to be honest, or with the header. To be honest, it was low, it was hard, and it's an easy header. It's one of the easiest goals Lascelles will ever score. Yeah. Again, we know. I thought it was a really good ball when I first saw it, but watching him back, it could have easily been dealt with again from another cross, another set piece. We just can't defend, and I don't know why Kilman isn't playing, because he gives us that air, he gives us that height, and he's an actual defender as well. Because we could see in this game where we was playing three midfielders in defence. Like, you could see that there was three midfielders. There wasn't three defenders. There was three midfielders in our defence, and he just showed today. And I think for our next game, well, which is tomorrow against City, I would bring Kilman in. Maybe for Dendoncker, I'd probably bring him in. Maybe play. I don't know how you play. Maybe play. Obviously, they're both being left-footed. You could play Kilman on the left, maybe, and Sate on the right, or having Kilman as the actual defender, playing him on the right, because he'll be used to playing in defence more. I don't know, but I would bring Kilman in. I thought Dendoncker wasn't all that great, really. I know he's a defender for Belgium, but being a defender for Belgium is, well, for being a defender for Belgium's golden generation and being a defender for Wolves is completely different. Like, you don't have to do that much defending while playing for Belgium when you've got Kevin De Bruyne, Lukaku, Eden Hazard. Like, you don't have to do that much defending, but for us, you need to be switched on, and yeah, you just need to get your body in the way of balls and blocking balls, and yeah, he's just not. I don't know. I think we need to move him back into midfield. It's just not it, and I feel like replacing him with Kilman for the City game. That's my opinion. That's what I'd do, because we need an actual defender in there, someone who knows how to defend and knows the way to defend. And Kilman is actually good with his feet as well. He can make some really good passes, and he's not like too risky with balls. He can play a nice simple pass, or he can play a nice long ball to Willian or to one of the wingers or whatever. So I would probably play Kilman in the next game, but we'll have to see, because defensively we just can't do it. We just can't keep clean sheets, and we can't defend from crosses or anything. Yeah, coming on to our goal. Obviously, like I said, a ball in from Neto from the right hand side. Again, it was a little bit behind Neves, but he does really well to actually kind of adjust, get back, and kind of tilt his head back and get a header on target. Probably Dubravka should have said that if Dubravka is match fit, he probably would have saved that or kept it out at least. But again, it was a really good header, and it's weird because I thought Neves, I don't know if this is my opinion, but I thought Neves was like so poor. I thought he was so bad today against Newcastle. I thought just his passing, like these simple passes, these 5-yard passes were sloppy. And just some of the long range passes just wasn't it, and him shooting as well. Like, he has so much time, and he has so much time on the ball, and the shots he's having are just going over. And yeah, I thought Neves was really poor. I don't know if that's just me. Like, I don't know if I'm being too negative, but I thought he was like really bad. So, like, if he didn't score, I would have been like, please just sub him off for like Otazari or like Vitinha or something, because he's just not doing anything, and he's just slow as well, so he can't really get back and help really. So yeah, I thought Neves was like really poor, but he made up for it, you could say, with the header. It was a really good header, done well to get on target. That's another goal for Neves this season. Has he got 4 goals? Maybe it might actually be 5. He might actually be our top goal scorer. But yeah, it was a really good header. So he slightly made up for his performance, in my opinion. And yeah, rescuing points from a losing position like we always do. And yeah, then the other chance really is that one that Fabio Silva had right at the end, which if that went in, like, the scenes in the living room would have been unbelievable. But yeah, it was only on for 5 minutes, and to be fair, he probably did more than Willian did in the 87 minutes, 90 minutes that he was on. Yeah, energetic, running around a lot, trying to win the ball back. And this is what we should be using for. Like when he's playing full games, he just can't. I don't know. He just can't get into it. I think he's better, especially at the age he is. I think it's better to bring him off the bench because you can see while legs are tiring, while their defenders are tiring, that's the perfect time to bring an 18-year-old on to run around a lot. He's got the fitness. He's got the belief and the bite to actually go and win the ball back and win the game for himself, and that's the perfect time to bring him on. Maybe against City or in the other games, maybe bringing him on a little bit earlier to give an even better chance of scoring and improving the game. Because I thought Willian did pretty much nothing in that game. Don't think he had the shots. Or maybe he did, I'm not too sure, but I don't think he did. We'll talk about Jose after because there's a big debate about Jose whether we should sign him and stuff like that. But anyway, with Fabio, that chance right at the end, again, it's a weird one. It probably should be scoring it, but again, it's a good save from Dubravka, but Fabio just heads it straight at him, and Dubravka has no idea about it. He just saves it, and he has no idea. Hits his shoulder, and that's it. Like it's a good save, but the people are making out like it's an unbelievable save. Like it's good, but like it's hit him. He didn't move. Like it's hit him like straight in the chest, straight in the shoulder. Like but yeah, maybe he should have scored it. Maybe like with experience, putting it either side of the keeper, he would have scored. We would have won the game, another 3 points. But yeah, you know what? You can't really blame him too much because he's having 5 minutes of games and having big chances like that with 5 minutes to go. It credited him really because he's getting in the positions with 5 minutes to go. Like it's hard to get into a game like that when you've only got 5-10 minutes to get into them, but he's been having chances like the one against Leicester. I like this one. Like he's not scoring them, but he's getting the chances, which is the main thing. Like if he wasn't getting the chances or wasn't in the position, then it's time to worry. But when he's getting in the positions and getting shots away and stuff like that, and getting them on target and testing the goalkeeper, it's what we need. And hopefully in the next couple of years he can actually start putting some of them away. And who knows? Maybe when in a couple of years he could be first choice and he could be starting some of these games. But yeah, ending 1-1. In hindsight, it's probably good. It's a decent point. It's probably even. No team really deserved to win that, you could say. Obviously they had the disallowed goal, which was fair. It was offside. But yeah, it's probably a fair result. It's probably the right result in the end. And overall, the month in general, it was pretty good. You can't really you can have no complaints really. It's been a good month in the league, especially. It's been a good month. How many is that? 3 wins, 2 draws. You know, that's good for a month. Like I said, if we went back to like December, January, like we would have bitten your hand off for a month like that. And hopefully, March, with only 3 games in March, hopefully we can maybe get a win, maybe 2 wins under our belt. It's a difficult month with only 3 games, and I think there might be an international break after the 3 games. But yeah, before we get onto that, I wanted to talk about Jose because there's a lot of controversy. There's a lot of controversy about him, whether he's not contributing enough, and yeah, it's a weird one because I feel like Jose's on there and he's improving the wingers. He's improving Neto, and I feel like ever since Willian's been starting up front, I feel like we've got more out of Adama, and Adama's been playing a lot better. A bit like the one against Newcastle. I feel like he's been playing a lot better. But he's just not getting shots away. He's just not scoring, and that's what strikers are about. That's what we bring strikers in for, is to score goals. And at the end of the season, he's going to be looked at as how many goals did he score while he was on loan at Wolves. And I think it will get goals. The goals will come, but again, Nuno doesn't really like just bringing a player in and playing him straight away. Like we've seen that with Dendoncker, we've seen that with so many other players like Adama as well. Like he doesn't like throwing them in the deep end. He likes to bring them on for 20 minutes, 10 minutes here and there off the bench to adapt to the Premier League and adapt to the system that they play. And you could say with Neto and Adama, from playing with Raul so much for the last year or so, with playing with Raul, you're just kind of used to it. You get used to the runs he makes. You get used to where he's going to be in the box, and you could say Willian and Raul are kind of similar, but they also have big differences as well. And this is his first time in the Premier League, so it's hard to judge him. But we kind of needed him to hit the ground running, and he hasn't so far. I think it's maybe 8 games he's played, 9 games he's played for Wolves so far. Obviously his first one was like a sub appearance for like 5-10 minutes. So, but anyway, yeah, it's kind of what we needed. We needed someone like that to just kind of hold the ball up, because Fabio isn't that type of player. He's not tall enough really, and he's not strong enough at the moment to hold the ball up and stuff like that. So we needed someone like that, and he's helped a lot with that, to be honest, where he's held the ball up and he's played a nice few passes here and there, which has been good. But he's just not getting the goals, and he's not really having many shots. So I remember the last shot he had. I don't know if he had one against Leeds. He might have. I just can't remember it. But he's just not getting shots. He's just not getting. You could probably blame that to the wingers as well, where they're just not putting decent balls in, or they're not getting balls which are close enough to him for him to attack, which is fair enough, because you can't score goals without service. But there was a few times yesterday, I think it might have been Neto or Adama, I can't remember which one, but I remember they put a really low and hard ball straight through, and it just needed the slightest of touches, and it's going in. It's 1-0, and I think Jose was not there. I don't think he was just switched on for it. I don't think he knew that was going to happen. So it's a weird one with Jose, because he seems a good player. He seems, obviously there's similarities with Raul, but I don't know. It's weird. Like, he's going to be judged on his goals, and so far he's got 0 goals, 0 assists. But you could, neither has Adama, but you can see he's contributing, he's trying, he's improving a lot over the past month, especially. So it's a weird one with Raul. With Willian, sorry, I just don't know. I wouldn't pay the 22 million so far, because he's not getting a goal, or not getting shots on goal enough. Again, like I said, Nuno doesn't really like doing this, but hopefully in the next few games, in the next month, hopefully he can improve, he can adapt more, get more shots away, and hopefully get a couple of goals and help us finish as high as possible this season, and hope maybe might get that permanent deal in the summer. But I'd probably still would start him against City. Again, against a team like this, we kind of need someone like that with his aerial presence to just kind of hoof the ball up to, because it's gonna be a tough game. Like, it's not gonna be pretty at all. There's going to be a lot of defending, which I don't mind at all, because it's City. Like, they're on a 20 unbeaten run. Like, we need to defend. Like, I'm completely fine with sitting back in the games like this. Completely fine, because it's Man City. Like, Pep Guardiola. Like, they can, if we don't sit back, if we don't defend right, they can put 7 past us if we're not careful. So we need to be switched on, and I feel like having a striker up there which we can kind of hoof the ball up to, and who can control it fairly well up there and hold the ball up, is something we need, and it's something important. And players like Adama and Neto as well, who are really good dribblers, who are really good at holding the ball as well, and who are really rapid as well, is something that we need a lot of as well, to getting us out of them sticky situations where we're pinned in, and we need someone just to carry the ball and grab the game by the scruff of the neck and just get us out of them positions, get us up the pitch even more, maybe win a foul up the pitch is something we need, because that's the only way we're going to get something out of this game is if we defend well, and Willian or the wingers can hold the ball up well and drag us through that game, because City look like unreal. We've been watching a few games again. Been watching some of their few games, like the ones in the Champions League as well, and they're good. They're going to win the Premier League. They've got a good chance of the Champions League. They're probably going to win the League Cup, and the FA Cup is probably theirs as well. So if we're not careful, they could do the quadruple. But yeah, looking at the 3 games that are happening in March, we have Man City away, we have Aston Villa away, then we've got Liverpool at home. Three teams that are above us. You could say 2 teams who are having really good seasons. Liverpool, probably the most vulnerable that they've been. But the City game, I'm kind of just writing off at the moment, because if we get anything out of that, it's a bonus. If we get a point out of that, it's a bonus. If we get 3 points, then unbelievable. But I'm not that confident, really. But again, it's Wolves, and we always turn up against the big teams, so maybe we can get a point, maybe. But yeah, I'm kind of writing that one off at the moment. Not really expecting much, not got too many high expectations, so we'll see how that one goes. Aston Villa, local rivalry, local derby. Again, without Jack Grealish, they haven't really got too much about them. They did win against Leeds, I believe. Yeah, I think I didn't watch the game, but I think Trezeguet scored, winning 1-0. Aston Villa have been good this season. They've been really good. Like, you can't really fault them. Ollie Watkins. I've been banging on about Ollie Watkins for a while, and I've thought a backup to Raul, he would be perfect. But he's come into this Villa team and done really well, and a proper good striker. Ross Barkley as well. Again, another player like that, which I've been like, we should get him on loan from Chelsea. And it's annoying that we didn't get players like that, but fair play, they're doing really well at Villa. I think Grealish is still going to be out for that game, which again is a bonus for us, because as much as I hate him personally, from what he does outside of football, he's just a bit of a prick. And yeah, of how much of annoying and just how much of a prick he is outside of football, his footballing ability is second to none. He should be in this England squad for the Euros. I'd want him in the England squad for the Euros 100%. And him missing for this game is a big plus for us. Hopefully we can capitalise on that. And yeah, it's a winnable game. It's a winnable game again, and the one against Liverpool as well, at home. Again, it's a winnable game. They're vulnerable, especially defensively. They are vulnerable, and we can get at them. And it's just if we do that. But points wise, I'm gonna say I don't know. I can either see us winning. I could either see us winning the Villa game and maybe winning the Liverpool game, getting 6 points, or on the other side, I could honestly see us losing all these 3 games, because the 3 teams which have been better than us this season, even Liverpool, while they've been so poor in the last few weeks, they're a better team than us. You can't really doubt that. So I can't really see either of what. We're either going to win 2 of these games or lose all 3. I'm going to be optimistic and say 4 points. I'd probably say the win against Villa and maybe a point against Liverpool. And like I said, anything against City is a bonus. I'd love even just a good performance against City and losing 1-0. That would do a lot of confidence as well, because they're one of the best teams in Europe this season, 100%. Them and Bayern Munich or something, they look solid. They look really good. So, yeah, 4 points from March would be a bonus, definitely. Would be really good. But yeah, that's pretty much the first. You could say the first episode of Monthly Moments done. Again, I'm still unsure of the name. I'm probably going to call it like, I don't really know. I don't know what to call it. If you got any other suggestions, then let me know. But I made a little logo. Is it here? Yeah, a little make of a little MM. So maybe I'll keep it. I don't know. But yeah, hopefully if you did enjoy, make sure you subscribe. As you can see, or my socials on the screen right now. So make sure you go follow them and all the good stuff. So yeah, and also stick around as well. Got some exciting things coming up on the channel this week. Getting a few things sorted for this week as well. I've got quite a haven't really got a busy week, so hopefully I can get a lot more content out, a lot more of these live streams coming out on here and on Twitch as well. So yeah, make sure you go follow me and subscribe on both of them. It will mean a lot to me. But yeah, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Turn notifications on so you know when I'm uploading. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Stay